I was expecting 2024 to be a slow year. When I was looking through the release schedule, there was stuff I was excited about, but I was fully expecting this video to be a battle of 3 games. Around July or August, I realized, oh, this year kind of slaps, especially for JRPGs. Japan kind of popped off this year. Let me know some of your favorite games of the year down below, or whatever you played this year that you really liked. And if you end up enjoying watching me talk about video games, consider dropping a sub. I'm trying to hit 1,000 before the end of March. The rules for the list will be the same as always. As long as the game was released in 2024, it will be eligible, assuming I played it, and any game I played for the first time this year is also eligible. I want these videos to be a reflection of everything I played this year, which is why I allow older games and remakes. So shall we start this list? You can never go wrong with a good mind-bending puzzle game.
Extreme close-up!
Cocoon broke my perception of reality, and I love it. The main gimmick of the game is jumping into micro dimensions, and every single time I did it, I thought it was so cool. I never got tired of seeing it, and I don't think I ever will. I understand how they designed a full game around this single mechanic. It's so good. The other mechanics are fun too. Like any good puzzle game, it has a lot of interesting ideas that it sprinkles throughout. There were times that I was completely lost, but I never felt like I was trying to do something that wasn't intended. My biggest issue with puzzle games is when I'm so lost that I'm interacting with stuff that wasn't intended to be interactable at all, because I'm grasping at straws and I have no idea what the game wants me to do. But this game is so well designed, I felt like I was never looking completely in the wrong direction. Cocoon is one of those games that looks fantastic, is highly regarded, and when you finally get around to playing it, you're like, yep, this is amazing. Also, everything in this game is so mind-bending, I don't think I can make an outro for it, especially with the adapted music, because there's no release of the soundtrack anywhere, which is a very weird compliment to give a game. I've been waiting years for this remake. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is one of my favorite games of all time, which is A, why this remake is on the list, and 2, why this by the numbers remake isn't too high. This is the definitive way to play TTYD, unless you really want to play it at 60 FPS. OG still looks good, but the remake takes the art style to new heights. The remade soundtrack is very good, and the new content is super fun. The best part about this game is the hope that it gives me. Growing up, the Paper Mario games were my favorite. For a while, I would play both TTYD and 64 yearly. Hell, I even love Super Paper Mario. But I haven't played a new game in the series since Sticker Star for Sticker Star related reasons. It's a series that lost its way, which is why I'm happy this remake is so good. Because you can mess up a remake of one of the best Mario RPGs. The new content is so good and they did a great job modernizing the game. I truly think this team can make a new game that's just as good, if not better than the original 3. It's been a while since I had faith in this series and it feels so good. The only time I stream new games is with a launch day stream, but with this one I streamed the whole thing because the game means so much to me. Easily the most fun I had streaming a game in 2024. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door remake shows why this is the best Mario RPG. It also made this game finally affordable. Play it and find out why people like myself won't shut up about it. It's kind of funny that this game ended up coming in 8th. I heard a lot of really good things about Octopath Traveler 2. after it released. Most of it was centered around the music, which tracks. Critical Clash 2, the song you are currently listening to, makes me want to drop the gloves with somebody. It's so good. Even with everything I heard about the game, I wasn't prepared for it to be an improvement over the original in every way. It really feels like the dev team listened to people who were excited for the first one, but felt like it came short, which led to a better experience for them and fans. You can skip everybody's first chapter, which makes replaying the game so much easier, which works out well for me because my Xbox nuked the save file off of the system and the cloud, and I had to restart the game to finish it. There are now short stories that involve two of the party members, which provides the cast with an opportunity to bounce off of each other. It's nice seeing the party actually get to interact. I wish we had more voiced interactions throughout the game though, especially because the 8 stories really come together by the end. In the first game, you can tell they wanted to keep the final chapter a secret despite the fact that everyone was expecting it. Now that the cat's out of the bag, they spend a good amount of time in every story setting up something. Everyone's stories are intrinsically connected in this game. Throughout the game, there are certain events that will happen in the background, and you can see the impact they have on the world before you know what's going on. There's also oddities you can casually encounter throughout the game. I was actually really impressed how they weaved the stories together, while building upon the mechanics that I loved from the first game. Like, I don't think I've seen a day and night cycle benefit a game so much since Mario Party 6. The combat is still really satisfying in this game too. Nuking bosses here is such a blast, even compared to the first game. Octopath Traveler 2 is a perfect sequel. If you felt like the first game fell a little bit short, give it a shot. If you liked it, you'll love this one.
It's gonna be my greatest hunt yet! I need to rediscover who I am. I just want to be free.
Harvey shall die by my hand.
I'll be back once I eliminate that devil called poverty from the world.
But someday, I'll have a song of my own.
I must divine the truth behind those words.
Their sacrifices won't be in vain.
Helldivers 2 is the most fun I've had with a multiplayer game since either Halo Infinite or Overwatch. Which, you know what, after playing Overwatch Classic, that might not be a good comparison because holy launch Overwatch sucked compared to what it is now. I can't believe I played Lucio back then. There's one thing that every man has the urge to do: have a climactic last stand with the boys. I get that on every extract in this game. Sometimes the fights are so chaotic, it feels like it's going to give me PTSD. The explosions are the best in the industry. Every single time I was too close to a 500 kg, it felt like my face was melting off. The sound design hits too hard. The shockwave from the nukes, dude, that feels so good. A lot of my issues with similar games to Helldivers is solved with one key framing device: the Galactic War. The game is borderline an extraction shooter, and I never really liked using guns and supplies to get more guns and supplies in a PvE game, because I could just not play and then have no need for more guns and supplies. But framing everything around this war and also not losing your resources does so much for me, because the game is more than me just trying to upgrade my stuff. It's actually giving me a purpose to fight. I'm fighting for Super Earth and to spread managed democracy. The guns are so fun to use, like my beloved Breaker and all of its spin-offs. And there are very few stratagems that don't feel awesome. Every single moment with my boys where we fought for our lives has stuck with me. Same with the smaller moments where I've been completely covered in bugs and I somehow made it out alive. And it's really fun killing your friends both on purpose or by accident. Helldivers 2 needs to become the next thing in multiplayer games. It's just so fun every single time I booted it up, even when they made it kind of ass for a bit. It has joined Smash Ultimate and Overwatch in the rotation of multiplayer games I play with my friends. Everything past this point could have been my GOTY in another life, so let's start the honorable mentions. Pikmin 4, Shenmue 1 and 2, Max Payne 1 and 2, Golf with Your Friends, not even joking. I started playing it this year on Game Pass with buddies, and it's been a blast. And for games that I wish I played, honestly, it's all the tactics games that I missed this year. And I've barely played this one, but I finally started Baldur's Gate 3. I was busy with family stuff over the holidays and then working on this video in the new year, so I haven't really had the chance to sit down and spend a lot of time with it. Realistically, I'm probably going to end up enjoying it, so expect it on next year's list. But hey, games aren't the only art form I like. Shoutouts to Dune Part 2 and a couple of the books. Listen, that movie is so good. As soon as I left the theater, I listened to Dune and Messiah. Hundreds of Beavers was also very good. Trust me, go watch it. It was a trip. As for TV, I would like to talk about Twin Peaks right now, but I haven't watched it. Still waiting for it to come to streaming services in Canada. I did pre-order the Z to A Blu-ray collection, so I will be watching it as soon as it arrives. Anyways, back to the list. I get why some fans won't shut up about this game.
Thanatos! Hermes!
Ew!
Polydusis!
Penthesilea! Palladian!
Woo!
Nemesis!
Castor!
Dude, Persona 3 Reload is so good. Almost every single aspect of a Persona game is at its best here. The story is surprisingly tight. It took me over 90 hours to do almost everything in the game, and at no point did it feel like it was dragging. I love the themes in it too. Really wish Makoto was fully voiced so we could hear him go through his arc. Even without saying a word, you can tell he starts and ends the game in two very different emotional states. I think Persona just works better when the main character has an arc throughout the whole game and doesn't have another character doing all the talking for them. What really helps the story is that it's one of the strongest supporting casts that I've seen from Atlus. Only one character kind of falls into the background after you get them. The whole cast stays relevant in the main story from their introduction to the credits. While Persona does have great soundtracks, they've never been my favorite in the genre. Except for P5 Strikers, the best Persona OST. P3Rs is really good. At the start of the game, I found the cheesy early 2000s rap bad. Like, I straight up wasn't vibing with it at all. But by the end of the game, I was singing along to it. It got to me, man. I've said go get it go so much to myself since I beat the game. Full Moon, Full Life is also the best Persona intro song. The combat, I wish they added more things from P5 like the technical moves, but it was still very enjoyable. I thought I would hate Tartarus, but I didn't mind it that much. I think there's a good enough framing around it. I didn't mind it being randomly generated. It didn't bother me here nearly as much as it did in P4. Honestly, I think what really puts this game over the edge for me is how tight the entire story is. If I had to recommend any game in the series, it would be this one, especially because it's the shortest of the big three. Persona 3 Reload is the best Persona game. I'm so happy they remade it so they could give fans a complete version of it. Except the Fez content was DLC and there's no female main character. Okay, even with those stupid choices, it is still the best Persona game. Going into the year, I would have bet on this game being the runner-up.
You need to get your mind off things. I know. How about a trip to Hawaii? Let's go.
Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth suffers from the biggest case of recency bias I've ever seen. Like, I think people forgot how good this game was almost immediately. There's only one thing I think this game really fails at. The writing does tend to trip a few times throughout the game, especially near the end. There's a few odd choices that I really think hurt the game, especially because they happen so late. But when the writing pops off, it pops off. This game knows how to emotionally manipulate you. Like, it can very easily make you cry, especially if you're a longtime fan. Every single time I think about the nostalgia system with Kiryu, it bums me out so much. But from a gameplay standpoint, this is my favorite in the series. It perfectly builds off of 7's combat system in every single way. And the minigames, guys, there's just Animal Crossing in this game. And a whole ass Pokemon quest line. It's insane how much they stuffed into this game. Ichiban continues to be my favorite video game character. Where he shines in this game isn't a profound change like in the previous game. The game tests his convictions and the lessons he learned. It really puts him through the ringer. Like, that's the part of the story that really shines through. I love his ending in this game so much. What is this, the 4th Game of the Year video in a row where I talk about this series? If you've seen my digital footprint at all, you know how much I love Like a Dragon. So I should start my outro for this. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is an amazing game ruined by an early release in a very stacked year. Hopefully next time Ichi doesn't drop a game so close to Cloud or Persona again for the 3rd time.
I used to worry about life. I used to worry about the world. I used to worry about my followers. I lost you. I lost myself. I bought a new dishwasher. But I don't think I got the right kind. For my thing, anyway. I need to talk to the guy at the store again.
This is game design in its most pure form. Astrobot is the exact type of game I want more of from big publishers. It's like a monster movie or a spy movie. It has a legacy in this art form that's so pure. So many times throughout the game, I would see a mechanic and think, oh, that's so smart. And I would keep thinking it throughout the entire level. While some of the references didn't really land with me because I don't have the longest history with PlayStation, the ones that hit did hit. Everything in this game is so fun that I didn't care if a cameo wasn't for me. It's hard to play it without a smile, unless you hate having fun. It's truly the best game PlayStation has published in a very long time. Something that must baffle the higher-ups. I just want more smaller games like this, man. Honestly, my only issue with the game are some of the big crossover levels. Each one of the 5 covers a PlayStation console and the PSP. But for PS2, they picked God of War and mostly focused on Ragnarok. So the PS2 pick is more so a PS4 and 5 pick. One is Uncharted, a PS3 and 4 series. And the last one was Horizon, a PS4 and 5 series. So the celebration of PlayStation has a bit too much weight towards the PS4, which is where PlayStation stopped making fun games like this. I think it just really sucks to see that type of PlayStation game that I don't really vibe with that much overrepresented in this game. The PS1 and the PSP level were easily the best of the bunch. But despite all of that, Astrobot is still the best designed game this gen. If you want to sit down and have some fun, I highly recommend it. Fantasy lives on through this game. I was expecting Metaphor ReFantazio to be good. I wasn't expecting it to be better than Persona 3 Reload. I really wasn't expecting it to have so much to say. The combat in the game is great. The job system was so fun and I really want to experiment with it more. The characters are fun and the story is amazing. But what really stuck out to me is what the game had to say. Especially in its back half, it has a lot to say about a perfect world and hate. I was genuinely surprised about some of the lines in the game and I just sat there stunned. It's been a month or so since I beat the game and what I said in my review about Luis hasn't changed at all. He is still my favorite JRPG villain, and I doubt that will change for a long time. Seriously, the writing around this man is so good. God, I want to talk about him more, but I can't without spoiling it. That's what makes talking about this game so difficult for me, because I don't want to spoil it for people, but I kind of have to go into why I loved it. My biggest issue with the game is Will. I wish he had more to say. When the game already has so much to say, and some of the characters have some really good lines, I wish more came from the main character. That's the main thing that's holding this back for me. Atlas needs to shed self-insert protagonists because it's starting to hold back their games. Metaphor ReFantasio is a stepping stone to something truly special, and I am so excited for whatever game this team has next if this was their first title.
Confront the threat before thee, or die here in obscurity.
And in the name of my people, I will strike you down where you stand!
Once more,
I take up arms in my liege's name!
I believe the arc of life depends not upon birth. By these hands soiled or sinless, I fight!
Behold, my voice rises from the depths of my heart.
Everyone deserves a second chance, especially if Corpo's ruined your first. Back in 2020, I was a cyberpunk defender. The flaws were bad, really bad, too bad in some cases. Don't crunch like that ever again, CDPR. But there was clearly something in the core that could turn into something special. After playing it throughout 2024, I am now a cyberpunk aggressor. F you, this is the greatest Western RPG I've ever played. Going to be honest, bending the rules a little bit to allow this one on the list, mostly because Cyberpunk is a large part of gaming in 2024 for me, and this is not the same game I played in 2020. Launch Cyberpunk was a disappointment, even to someone like me. Now, it is the game I was dreaming of. The new combat options are super fun, leading to a lot of diversity in builds. Normally in games, I only really gravitate to 1 or 2 builds. Here, there's so much diversity that I want to try them all. My 2.0 build was something that I called a net bonker, a mixture of netrunner skills and Genji from Overwatch. I would run around the arena like a madman, using katanas to block bullets, and dashing in on enemies to perform finishers, all while mixing in quick hacks on enemies that were far away from me. My favorite one being the quick hack that forces enemies to Persona 3 themselves. It's such a blast, dashing around, slashing guys, and hacking others. I also messed around with a full Gorilla Arms, Shotgun, and Sandevistan build, which was just as fun. And there's so many more that I want to try. I think in my next playthrough, I'm going to do a full Netrunner stealth build. It's not just the different gameplay options that makes me want to replay it, though. The choices in the main story and side quests are so impactful that I want to see the other routes. In so many scenarios, there isn't a single right choice. Night City isn't black and white. It's very gray. The game reinforces it in almost every choice. As a result, I decided very early on to have one guiding philosophy throughout the entire playthrough. If I can help someone take back some control of their life, no matter how bloody it will get, I am helping them. The world in the game is so shitty and few have control that being the arbiter for that change became a very satisfying way to play the game. One lyric in Phantom Liberty matches my outlook on choices perfectly. Wires and chains. I'm just tired of looking the other way. I could keep going on what this game has to say, go deeper into gameplay options, but this game deserves a full video. I didn't even go into how I drove as little as possible throughout this entire playthrough, and that gave me a new appreciation for Night City. It is easily a top 5 of all time for me, and I can go on for a long time. Cyberpunk 2077 is the best Western RPG I've played. Pick it up and become a Night City legend.
I saw a corpse strip farmers of water and eventually of land. Saw them transform Night City into a machine fueled by people's crushed spirits, broken dreams, and empty pockets. Corps have long controlled our lives, taken lots, and now they're after our souls. V, I've declared war not because capitalism's a thorn in my side or out of nostalgia for an America gone by. This war's a people's war against a system that spiraled out of our control. It's a war against the fucking forces of entropy. Understand? Do whatever it takes to stop them, defeat them, gut them. If I gotta kill, I'll kill. If I need your body, I'll fucking take it. You still don't see it, but you will one day. Time to party like it's 2023.
This was truly a genre-defining experience. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth doesn't just have the sauce. Much like Kingdom Hearts 2, it is the base. Action JRPGs for years to come will look at every aspect of this game and try to extract what they can. Either the brilliant combat system that fixes what didn't work in Remake, air combat, and improves on its strengths, leading to great strategies with the synergy moves. When swapping characters like a madman was a strength of Remake, Rebirth only reinforces it, making the game so much more fun. They also provide ways where the player can succeed as one character if they don't want to swap all the time in combat. But it's not just gameplay developers are going to be looking at too. There's also the excellent character writing that shows a deep understanding of this legendary cast, developing Cloud in a way that Square has failed to do since the original. A huge aspect of that is due to the amazing performance he has too. I really think Cloud's voice actor got snubbed at the Game Awards. Same with Barrett. While deepening the rest of the cast and fleshing out NPCs in a way that very few games try, and adding new story to keep longtime fans guessing and new fans a reason to play both. The music? Oh my god, the music! With amazing battle themes. A few good emotional tracks. And some of the silliest songs in the genre. All of this in the game still manages to add the most neglected part of old school JRPGs, the minigames. I cannot stress how important that is to me. All of the minigames are so silly, and I love them. I'm going to be honest, my fears of ballooning budgets is kind of thrown out the window with this game being my GOTY, but I've heard the budget of this is around as much as the original 7's and its marketing push. That makes this whole budget a lot more digestible for me because it's mostly going to the game itself. This is why the project needed to be a trilogy to be as good as it is, especially when the original game is so dense. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth did for me what the original did for so many back in 1997. It showed what the future of the genre can look like and gave an experience like no other. You know, I'm starting to notice a pattern with my GOTY videos. It seems like for every odd year, it's actually a tight race for the GOTY. 2023 could have easily been one of 3 games. For every even year, it's been an easy lock for one game. In 2020, it was clearly 7 Remake. In 2022, it was clearly Xenoblade 3. And now, in 2024, it was clearly Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. To be fair, I don't think I would ever let a game released in a previous year win Game of the Year, despite the fact I allow them on the list. So if Cyberpunk did release in 2024 and didn't launch in the state that it did, it would have been a lot harder. Almost the entire year, Rebirth was the front runner. no other new release came close to it. Once again, please comment some of your favorite games of the year. I'm curious what you guys had to say. Do you agree? Think I'm an idiot? Comment down below. Like the video if you have to go change the name of your Infinite Wealth review because you put a turn-based JRPG ahead of it on your Game of the Year list, and subscribe for more content. Follow me on other platforms if you want. Take care, guys.